Justice has just announced Walt Green, the U.S. Attorney from the Middle District of Louisiana, has to resign.
At 6:52, global stock markets are continuing to advance after Wall Street closed at a record high on Valentine's Day.
Surge was not, though, a result of an overwhelming number of traders trying to spread the love. Instead, it was a response to an optimistic assessment of U.S. economic futures during Janet Yellen's congressional testimony. That was yesterday. The Federal Reserve Chair saying the Feds will consider raising short-term interest rates in March, but only if the economy continues to strengthen.
After OPEC agreed to reduce global oil output by about 1%, crude oil prices surged and publicly traded oil corporations experienced a nice jump in stock prices.
Yeah, ExxonMobil jumping by just over 1.6%, BP just under 1.5%, Shell actually the big winner of the day with more than 2% increase there on the New York Stock Exchange.
It is 6:53 and leaders from around the world are releasing information about the victims of the deadly New Year's attack in Istanbul.
Yeah, Germany's foreign minister is the latest to come forward, revealing the 2 German residents are believed to be among the dead. One was a German-Turkish dual citizen. The other, though, believed to have just only Turkish nationality. One American businessman, by the way, we've talked about him, Jake Rock, also injured in the attack, but is expected to recover.
A new report on human development in the Arab world from the United Nations is coming out. According to that report, individuals are more disadvantaged and vulnerable to violence than any other time in recent history. The region stretches across North Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Middle East. It is home to only 5% of the world's population, but accounts for 45% of global terror attacks and nearly 70% of the world's battle-related deaths.
Unsurprisingly, Donald Trump is continuing to make headlines, of course, in the new year. Donald Trump saying he will sit down with intelligence officials. Reports say they will be discussing election hacking. Mr. Trump maintains he does not believe there was a Russian interference, but has said he will speak on the topic in the coming days. A massive effort right now underway to rescue civilians stuck in eastern Aleppo. Buses evacuating the sick, the wounded, stranded from 2 rebel-held villages in northern Syria. Several other efforts to rescue Aleppo residents failing after the ceasefires fell through. Later today, the UN will decide if they're going to be sending UN monitors to aid that war-torn city. In addition to that UN meeting, the Russian military says the defense ministers of Russia, Turkey, and Iran will meet in Moscow today to discuss an ongoing conflict there in Aleppo. Officials say tomorrow's meeting will discuss possible resolutions and how to help then with those UN efforts. Russian President Vladimir Putin and other top advisors attending the funeral of Andrei Karlov.
Karlov was the Russian ambassador who was assassinated in Turkey earlier this week during a diplomatic trip to discuss the ongoing civil war with Syria. The assassin was shot and killed at the scene, but not after screaming about the Syrian city of Aleppo. A double surprise first in Romania. Their parliament just nominated the first female and first Muslim for prime minister.
Yeah, Sevil Shidek actually nominated by the Social Democratic Party after their party leader was embroiled in a voter fraud scandal. So the former Minister of Regional Development got the nod. Shidek is actually a member of the minority party and kind of a surprise to many. She could be approved by Parliament and the Romanian president as early as this week. So we'll see if that actually ends up happening.
A study published in the journal Science suggests girls as young as 6 years old can be led to believe men are inherently smarter than they are.
Yeah, a study shows that by the age of 5, children tended to associate brilliance with their own gender. As they became older and began attending school, children began endorsing gender stereotypes like associating intellectual ability with males more than females. Well, historically, the president-elect holds a press conference within days of the November election, but number 45 is sticking to his rather untraditional guns and has yet to formally address the media. According to his top advisor, Kellyanne Conway, that should change on January 11th. That would be just over a week before Donald Trump takes the oath of office and more than 2 months after he was elected. Let's see what ends up happening. One possible topic for the first press conference, the latest threat from North Korea. On New Year's Day, leader Kim Jong-un claimed the country had developed an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of reaching the United States. On Monday, the president-elect sending off a stream of tweets dismissing Kim's claim, slamming China for not aiding in North Korean relations.
A measure from the White House is facing some backlash. The state of Hawaii has become the first state to challenge President Trump's revised travel ban.
Attorneys for the state filing a lawsuit against the order, saying the order will harm Hawaii's Muslim population, tourism, and foreign students. The president's ban is set to go into effect 1 week from today.
And while the president faces adversity at home, Chinese officials are defending his name. The Chinese government recently approved 38 trademarks filed by Trump's corporations. Some say the approval came through unusually quick and that it opens the door for conflicts of interest. Chinese officials maintain they followed their laws. A spokesperson for the president says it is simply an effort to protect the Trump brand in China.
Esteban Santiago, the suspect in Friday's deadly airport shooting, is expected now to be formally charged today.
Law enforcement sources say he allegedly confessed to planning the airport attack and apparently chose Fort Lauderdale at random. The Iraq War veteran is accused of killing 5 people and wounding 6 others. Prosecutors say he could face the death penalty if he's found guilty.
In South Carolina, the sentencing for convicted church shooter Dylan Roof continues this morning. Officials expect to wrap up testimony later today. Federal prosecutors have been pushing for the death penalty since day one of the trial, but it is possible Roof will get life in prison. That decision is going to be left up to that federal jury.